actively involved in the UAB Trailblazers and the Leadership and Service Council. This will be her first time as a TEDx speaker. She's excited to share a creative perspective on handling traumatic experiences. Her talk will reflect on her personal journey and explore how these insights can be applied to a broader understanding of trauma. A fun fact about her is that she loves painting landscapes and enjoys embroidery.
Okay, I will say, since I originally wrote that post, it did switch a little bit from traumatic experiences to redefining strength and success. But with that being said, I think that in the pursuit of success, we often think of strength as something that is a necessary component. And the definition of that kind of necessary strength is the ability to withstand hardship and make necessary sacrifices. I grew up with this ideology primarily from learning from my favorite Disney princess, Tiana. In her film, she sang about her determination to accomplish her goals. I watched her work two jobs, sacrifice sleep, and then sacrifice fun and social events for her goal of opening a restaurant. And, we might not all have Tiana as our favorite role model, but we do have a dream and a goal, something that we want to work for, no matter the cost. In the pursuit of this goal, whether it's sacrificing time with your family to build a business, or maybe sacrificing your health to make sure you have the perfect project, or the perfect dental. What is often believed is that the harder you work and the more that you sacrifice, the greater your reward will be. And this can be true in some cases, but it's important to distinguish a necessary sacrifice from an undue burden, and hard work from a precursor to burnout. Today, I want to help you all evaluate the weight of your sacrifice in the pursuit of success and redefine strength not as the ability to take on hardship and make sacrifices, but as a commitment to reflect, to heal, and to prioritize your well-being and your health in the pursuit of success. At 13, my version of success was security. I wanted to have a funded college. I wanted to have a great career. And I wanted to have a house big enough for me, my mom, my dad, and my brother. Super fun, I know. But I wanted the love I had for my family to be represented in the home that I would provide for them one day. So at 13, I decided that in the face of hardship, in the face of failure, I would conquer and I would go for it. I would make necessary sacrifices and I would do my best. And for a little while, it worked. And the strength I committed to worked. I got to be in the spelling bee. I got to do things that I didn't think were possible. And in my little 13-year-old way, I got a glimpse into the security I wanted to provide. But no amount of hard work or commitment or sacrifice could have prepared me for the destruction of that family that I wanted so badly to provide for. At 14, my parents held my hand and they announced a divorce. My dad soon moved out of the house. At 15, after a year of shifting to my new family and recommitting to my goal, my mother held me. And she shared that she was diagnosed with cancer. And that home I dreamt of and that heart I had shattered into a mess that I could really only hope to repair. In that moment, I thought that the security that I wanted to make for my family and the future I wanted to work hard for was more important than the heart that I had. So I made 3 decisions. First, any emotions I felt, leave them behind. They're not going to get me where I want to be. 2, any action or commitment that wasn't in pursuit of my goals, I'm not going to spend time or energy on that. That's not going to get me where I need to be. Number 3, anything that did get me to that security and that place for my family was something I would give everything I had to. So instead of sleeping, I stayed up till 2 a.m. studying chemistry and biology and psychology just to wake up at 5 a.m. for swim practice. I would skip meals and time with friends to work on homework and joining different clubs. continue that sacrifice by skipping time out with that family I wanted to provide for so I could go to club meetings or leadership initiatives or volunteering because I wanted to provide for them more than I wanted to face the reality of what was happening to me. And for that strength and for that commitment, I was rewarded with another glimpse of security. I got scholarships that paid for my college. I got a level of independence that allowed my already worried parents not to worry about me. And I found confidence in who I was and what I could do. But that commitment to strength blinded me to the weight of the sacrifice I was making. At 17, I began experiencing disorienting panic attacks, overwhelming pain, and rapid weight loss. When I couldn't power through my symptoms and I couldn't ignore what I was facing anymore, any perception I had of strength was shattered. My state worsened as my mother's treatments began to fail, and she was admitted to hospice. I held on tight on the last day of her life as she slowly let go. And it was only in that moment that I realized that strength is not about how much you can carry, but whether or not you allow yourself to let that weight go. I realized what I thought was strength and courage and handling a situation with dignity was ignoring an open and festering wound. I realized what I needed more than any amount of superficial strength was healing, and that could only come from acknowledging the pain that I was in. In the pursuit of our goals, be it an accomplishment or maybe a state of being that you want to be in, our instinct is to push harder. It's to prove our strength, and it's to continue going and taking action no matter the cost. But when you choose to sacrifice your health, your identity, and your joy for achievement, you unintentionally welcome the weight of burdens that not only hinder you pursuing that goal, but hurt you in the long run. Those weights can come in the form of unacknowledged emotions, actions that are not addressing those emotions in a way to avoid them, or beliefs that hold you back from taking care of yourself. Today, I want to challenge you to redefine strength in the context of those weights by acknowledging their presence, setting them down, and maintaining your commitment to your health and well-being in the pursuit of success. So, how do we redefine success? How do we redefine strength? And how do we acknowledge our weights? We allow ourselves to express those emotions. Often what we feel can be such a powerful indicator of our values and how they're being represented in our life. While emotions should not be at the forefront of your decision-making or your life goals, they are something you should allow space for, especially when they're difficult to express. When I finally had the strength to express the pain I was feeling, I recognized that my grief, as hard as it was to express and as hard as it was to present, was really a beautiful, raw, and powerful expression of the love that I had for my family. Moreover, I realized the anger that I was wrestling with over my situation was really just a way for me to try to feel powerful in a powerless situation. We all have different darknesses that we face in the pursuit of success. And today, in this time, I challenge you to make space for that, to listen to that uncertainty, and to listen to what your heart is trying to tell you as you move forward. So, we've acknowledged our weight. It's present. How do we put it down? I found that the best way to do this was not only to acknowledge that weight, but identify how it can manifest in your actions. As I mentioned earlier, I like to be busy. I was busy from 5 a.m. to 2 a.m. Not great for my sleep, but my busyness wasn't something that was pushing me towards my goals. It was a wall that allowed me to mask myself from the pain I was feeling. Moreover, I recognized that my belief that any time I spent not in pursuit of my goals was preventing me from moving back wasn't really anything that pushed me forward. It was just another weight that dragged me down, and it didn't allow me to do anything helpful. So, how did I set that weight down? I let myself go to sleep. I let myself eat, I let myself rest. I did things that were unproductive, like have fun and hang out with a family that I cared so much about, and hang out with the friends who I had not made time for in the past. Busyness isn't necessarily something that we all turn to. It could be a myriad of different behaviors specific to you. But in this moment, I want you to evaluate the motivation behind your actions. Is it really something that's pushing you forward, or is it something that's holding you back? So, final point. We want to move forward. How do we do that in a way that is productive and that is healthy and prioritizes our well-being? Well, we know how to acknowledge our emotions. We know how to identify those weights and set them down. The trick is maintaining that in whatever goals you have. So, for me, to make sure I'm not overworking myself and I'm not ignoring anything, I make time to reflect on how I'm feeling and what I need. Maybe I need to go for a run. Maybe I need to eat an entire pint of ice cream. Sometimes it's just that kind of day. But in any case, you identify what you need and you give it to yourself. And moreover, you allow yourself to recognize when you might be falling back into those patterns. Finals week, I hang out at the library way too much, and it's my job to say, you know what, go take a nap. You know what, you've studied enough. It's maintaining that care, and maintaining that attention, and maintaining that ability to put the weight down. Remember, strength is not how much you can carry. It's whether or not you allow yourself to set that weight down. So, I want to challenge you. How can you continue? How can you check in with yourself? How can you make sure that you are exemplifying strength, not just in maintaining not just in enduring hardship, but in moving forward with intentional prevention, or not picking up the weights you just put down. So, today, I want you all to take a moment. I want you to imagine what goal you're working towards, or what success you're working towards. I want you to I want to challenge you to have strength in pursuing those goals, to acknowledge what weights you might be carrying in the pursuit of that, to put them down no matter how unproductive they may seem, and to continue that progress so you can achieve your goals. And not just so you can achieve your goals, but so you can move forward without burden, so you can be lighter and freer and stronger